Before hustle culture was a thing, Ayn Rand created a fictional hero who can be a real inspiration for someone who wants to be productive and get after it. He's Howard Roark, and we find him in the pages of the novel The Fountainhead. Roark is a talented and hard-working architect. He goes through many struggles but keeps his integrity and his uncompromising vision on his work. In this video, we will reverse engineer Roark's outstanding productivity. This is Nikos Sotirakopoulos, and these are 2 productivity lessons from Howard Roark. A simple answer to the question, how is Howard Roark so productive, would be to say, he works very hard, and when he works, he's in focus. These things are true, but they don't answer the most difficult question, which is, how does he achieve this intensity and this focus? Because these are not some things that come very easily. The answer is that for Howard Roark, his work is the central purpose in his life, and this is the first productivity lesson we can get from him. Ayn Rand describes central purpose as this very important value that you have that brings together all other goals and actions in your life. For example, for Michael Jordan, his central purpose was to become the best basketball player. For Howard Roark, the central purpose is to build buildings based on his own standards. Now here's what is very important here. Roark has chosen this central purpose consciously. He has very good reasons why he wants to do it, and he knows why he wants to do it. So when he has this big why, this is a huge motivation in terms of pulling the all-nighters or leaving aside things that are not so important in pursuit of his goal. And having a central purpose does not mean that all you do is work. Think of how Howard Roark sees relaxation. For him, relaxation is actually important. Remember when he leaves for months to sail with Gail Wynand? Number one, because he likes Wynand, but also because he realizes that he needs it. He says something like, I've noticed that my work is not so good lately, so he understands that he needs a break. So having a central purpose gives Roark this why, gives Roark this motivation to work hard with intensity and with focus. Identifying what your central purpose is might not be very easy, but once you achieve it, then life becomes simpler. Steven Pressfield has written a book called Turning Pro, where he describes the process through which you find what is the main calling and mission, let's say, you have in life, and then you go all in. And he says something very interesting. He says, once you turn pro, then your day is very simple. You know exactly what you have to do, what time to wake up, with whom to hang out, what time to go to bed, what to eat. Why? Because you have a standard based on which you can judge your action. And this standard is, does this serve my central purpose? Does this serve the person who I want to be? And this person is now a pro. This person now cannot deviate from the goal. So your central purpose becomes your manager, your coach, your advisor who tells you what to do and what not to do. And at the end of the day, your biggest motivator. The second lesson from Howard Roark is that he focuses on what he can actually control, which is the quality of his work. What matters to him is that the buildings are beautiful. Whether the buildings will be appreciated or not appreciated is not in his control. But how good the buildings are based on his standards is 100% under his control. And this is liberating. This is quite a motivating factor for him to work hard. Of course he needs clients. Without clients, he will end up breaking rock in the quarry, which actually happens at some point in the book. But he has trust that there are rational people out there with a good taste that will eventually appreciate his work. So Roark trusts the process. His work, based on his own standards, based on his own method, whether he builds a small gas station in the middle of nowhere or a skyscraper in the middle of a huge city. knowing that he can control the quality of his work, combined with the fact that he knows why he's doing this work and the fact that this work is a central purpose in his life, means that Roark knows that he will be successful. And this is very motivating. What do we mean here though, successful? Philosopher Onkar Ghate puts it quite well in an essay in the book Essays on Ayn Rand's The Fountainhead. Dr. Ghate says, quote, "Success here does not mean universal fame or fortune, but doing one's own work, one's own way, on whatever scale possible." Doing one's own work, one's own way, on whatever scale possible. So you see here why Roark has to be successful. Because whether he builds something small or something big, it's his work, his own way. And this way is a way which is rationally chosen, and this is why he trusts the process. He knows that he will succeed. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually he will succeed. Life and career is a long-term process, and Roark knows that. This idea of trusting the process reminds me of the book The Score Takes Care of Itself by legendary NFL manager Bill Walsh. Walsh started training the San Francisco 49ers when the team had a really bad losing record and it was in complete disorganization. So his focus was not how to improve the losing record, because this was not 100% in his control. Maybe the other teams would improve as well. He focused on improving things that were 100% in his control. The training methods, the professionalism of the players, the mindset of the players, how they would pay attention in all the small details, how they would pay attention to the fundamentals. So next year, the team improved in many things, but the record was exactly the same losing record as the year before. But Walsh didn't really care. The score would take care of itself, and it did. With the focus on all these small things, all these small details that were 100% in their control, the team improved so much that within 2 years, they won the Super Bowl. The score indeed took care of itself. And we see the same thing with Roark. Roark focuses on the things he can control, being a good architect, working with method, working in a system, working with professionalism, with the standards that he very deeply thought about them. And what happens within some time? He succeeds. The score took care of itself even with Roark. How does all this relate to productivity? Focusing on the things you can control is liberating. If my focus in making this video would solely be how many viewers it would get, that would be debilitating. That would mean, for example, that I wouldn't shoot it unless I would reach a particular amount of followers on YouTube. But this would stop me from putting in the work. Whereas focusing on the things that I can control, which is coming up with an idea that I like, writing a script that I like, shooting frames that I actually like. This is what actually gave me the boost to go out and shoot it. So I really hope the score takes care of itself. I really hope the video does well, but this is not my main motivation. My main motivation is to put on work that I like, and this is 100% within my control. Howard Roark has found the central purpose and he's conscious about it and he believes in it. And also he knows what are the things he can control. The quality of his work, the standards of his work. He's consistent and he trusts the process. How can such a guy not be super productive? And how can such a guy not win? Lessons there. Thank you and see you soon.